When you understand how to master your energy, you're able to master your life and to learn how to consciously direct your energy towards the things that you want to experience in your life. We have 10 of Cups in the past position. 10 of Cups talks about that emotional depth, that richness of life, that emotional fulfillment that comes when you allow yourself to feel your emotions and you heal your emotions and you are able to tap into that creative energy that comes through your emotional experience and utilize it to create the life that you want. The heart is such an intelligent organ. We think about the brain as though the brain is like the creator of our reality, but in actuality, it's your feelings. Your feelings create a frequency that the universe then matches. Because you can be thinking about abundance, you can be thinking about success in this material way and manifesting it, but you will manifest it much faster if there's a coherence with how you feel in your heart. And the heart actually sends way more signals to the brain than the brain sends to the heart. It's this vastly intelligent organ, and it has this electromagnetic field. And so when you're truly in alignment with your heart and you're sending out that energy of love and abundance and fulfillment, and you're pouring so much into your own self and into your own life that you're pouring from a sense of overflow, then you're truly able to align yourself with so much beauty and so much joy in life. And that journey and that understanding comes from going within. So we have the Hermit in the reverse in the alignment line. And if we immediately transmute that energy, the Hermit asks us to go within our own shadows and our own secret places so that we can find the light within ourselves. There's this sense that there are stories that you've been carrying from the past or from even ancestral bloodlines that have come down to you, that the paradigm that we're existing in is actually reality. And when you start to go within and you start to open up your eyes and you open up your sense of consciousness to the greater consciousness through your third eye, you start to understand that we are operating in a matrix system. And the matrix system is perpetuated through people's thoughts. And so when we are able to really train our thoughts to create a specific emotional experience, our reality starts to change. And that can sound pretty lofty while we're in the midst of, the reality that we can see displayed in the media, where we have countries attacking other countries and bombing little children and people getting hurt over money and over these rulers and these elites that are deciding our future for us. And by taking that journey within and exiting that system, you start to see it for what it is. And it's that reflection of the disconnect and the discontent within all of us that has been passed down to us and trained into us as a way of being before we were ever even consciously choosing to create our reality in this way. And so when you exit that system and you start to tap into the universe and you start to, this is the Empress in the future position, and you're able to receive the messages from the universe by opening up your third eye, opening up your ability to get these downloads from the universe from a sense of joy and abundance and love. You're able to really start to create this new reality, because reality operates as a mirror. So what you see in your reality is a reflection of past actions and past thoughts and past belief systems. So you cannot change the mirror by asking the mirror to change. The only thing to change is self. You must change who you are being within and truly know thyself and be able to turn that energy, that loving, abundant energy out into the world. And that is what changes the fabric of the universe and changes your experience. And so when we do that for ourselves, we also do that for others, because others start to align to our vibration and align with our frequency. You can walk into a room full of sad and angry and disappointed people and change their emotional experience by raising your frequency. They automatically start to attune to it. Some people are going to get really triggered and mad at you for having this light, but a lot of people who are receptive to this kind of energy, and maybe they're not even conscious of it, but they're receptive. The Empress is all about receiving that love and receiving that abundance. When you're open energetically, your frequency will start to attune to the highest frequency in the room. And in the past position, we have the Six of Wands pointing back at you, which gives that sense of pushing away what is really good for you and pushing away from what truly aligns you with abundance out of a sense of unworthiness. And so it's like that victim mentality where the world is against you. Instead of seeing the challenges as a season, right? We have these leaves in the background, and they ask us to look at things from a seasonal, cyclical, ebb and flow standpoint. The universe also operates as a pendulum. So things have to ebb and flow. There's this swinging, and we always have to remember that at its most terrible point, the upswing from that is going to be this tremendous rebirth. The towers have to fall. The paradigm has to fall in order for the rebirth to happen. You cannot build a new system by using the same rules of the old system. That just doesn't make sense. The energy is going to trickle through the system, and eventually it's going to end up in that same fashion of control and power and greed. You can see it in the spiritual community all the time, where people are talking about 10K months, like that's what their healing journey is all about, is reaching a certain financial bracket. That's not what it's about. It's about the emotional experience, and it's about your offering and what the gift you're giving to the world. The automatic reciprocal effect of what you give out is financial abundance, is energy, is more coming to you, is abundance. And yet that's not the point of it. The point is to feel that love and that joy with the Daughter of Wands coming in, the Princess of Wands coming in that alignment place. You also can't change the reality and the reflection and the mirror that you see by focusing on the darkness. Because the more you focus on it, the more quantum physics shows us, the more you focus on something, the faster it materializes into reality. So our job as warriors and as people who are working to change this paradigm, and through this purpose-driven work, the healer entrepreneurs, I'm not just speaking to the entrepreneur that's interested in making a bunch of money and setting themselves free in that way. I'm speaking to the ones who are here to change the world and who are here to create a new world for our children to grow up in and their children. And we don't create a new world by focusing on the past world and by being in that same energy. We create a new world by focusing on cultivating joy and childlike innocence and pleasure within us, so that we are spreading that energy out into the world from a place of fullness, from a place of overflow, not scarcity, because that just creates the same pattern over and over. You stay trapped in that cycle of victimhood. So we have the Ten of Wands. That's again talking about that same level of oppression. With it coming up in reverse, it's showing this is passing, right? This is energy that's moving away from you rather than being directed back towards you if it was in the upright position. And it shows this, like, these darker demonic entities that exist in reality, right? We push them away from us by consciously directing our energy towards the reality we want to experience, towards that abundance, towards that fulfillment, that joy, and that, that connection with spirit and connection with the divine. Again, in the Four of Cups, in the spirit line of the past, focusing on those mixed blessings, focusing on this clarity and this calm and this stillness that exists within, that we cultivate that within, despite all the chaos and the struggle and the strife that's happening outside of us. When we cultivate this sense of calm, this emotional stillness, this emotional grace within us, then we're truly able to tap into source and to understand the mysteries in the way that allows us to share them. And we can help others through this maze of existence, the Queen of Stones. Spider Woman talks about being able to interpret the maze for others, to connect to source through one's consciousness, through one's third eye, through one's heart, and through being that embodiment of the practice. It's not enough to just wear a mask or wear a filter of spirituality and post memes that are like showing that you're on this elevation journey. It's not enough to just look at Instagram or look at Facebook or social media as though you're on a spiritual journey, because the messages and the wisdom must come from within, and it must come from that true connection with source. And that is by allowing oneself to be a conduit, planting one's feet in the dirt and working with the dirt and working with the land and the seasons and Mother Nature, so that you become a vessel for source. Otherwise, you're just putting on a facade and you're just putting on an act. And without embodiment, it's this hollow, kind of pointless game. And a lot of people can be sucked into it and duped into that, placing another person on a pedestal as a mentor or a guide, when they themselves don't even embody what they are teaching. And that is where the spiritual warrior must truly be conscious of who they are being, and from a place of forgiveness, because none of us are perfect. We all are going to make mistakes. We're all going to be challenged by life. We're all going to get challenged by our ego. And our ego is the one that wants us to keep playing the game in a certain way. The ego is going to try to tell you that's not safe, to start over, to be seen as one that doesn't know. None of us know. We're all just kind of guessing here. And that's what part of that journey within is. The search for the Holy Grail is the search to know thyself, which means that your truth is individual to you. Your story is individual to you. It depends on your timeline, your ancestral lineage, your upbringing. How you came up in this world is going to greatly change how you perceive the world. And yet we can start over at any time, because like peeling an onion away, you can get to the root of things and return to that place of childlike curiosity and innocence before the world put all of these perceptions and all of this trauma upon you. We all must have the ability to cut through the noise. With the Princess of Swords coming up in reverse, it's that hesitation to tap into that esoteric wisdom and to tap into that ancient knowledge. And if we transmute that, and because we were told that it was fantasy, we were told that the universal laws that have always been in existence were just like science fiction. They were just something that was made up. But we can see that it is not true, because if it was not true, then the powers that be wouldn't be using those exact same principles and those same structures to create a reality that is pretty problematic for all of us. So this is you in the significator card. And so transmuting that energy and understanding the role that we play, and that the universe is a mental universe. Thought creates reality. I know that's triggering to a lot of people, to think that your thoughts create this emotion and your emotional experience is sending this signature out into the universe, this frequency, and the universe is responding to it by showing you exactly what you want. Not what you desire, what you want. So what that wounded inner child wants. And if you have had a life of chaos and trauma and abandonment, your inner child wants that until it learns to heal. And so you can say, I want abundance, I am abundant. You can claim it using all of your mental faculties and your mental prowess. But until your heart believes it and your body believes it and that inner you believes it, you'll keep manifesting a similar version of your past over and over again. We break that cycle when we wake up and we ask for our day to be different, and we consciously choose to create our reality from a different emotional place, from a different thought process, from a different standpoint, from a different perspective, so that the mirror changes. And we have the Nine of Pentacles, sorry, in the upright position of the good luck card of the day. And so again, creating more alignment, more abundance, more building, that's what comes out of this work. When you look at the entrepreneurial journey as a journey of self and as an energetic journey, it completely changes the fabric of the game that you're playing. And the game that you're playing then becomes one of, how do I get better? How do I attune to my higher self every day? How do I wake up and make the world a better place? How does my business and my purpose play into this new world that we're all creating? And how do I allow that to happen in the most beneficial way for everyone? Not just self, not just the few or your family, but everyone. And let's see what the runes have to say. So in the runes, we have you, the past, the future, the basis of the reading, and the challenge, and then the best outcome. Oh, I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Jordana, and this is what it is. And so I read for entrepreneurs because I love them, and being one myself, I just resonate with the journey, and I feel like there's something here that can make this journey easier for all of us. And so I just want to help everyone I can along the journey. So Hagalaz in the position of you letting the towers fall. In the tarot, Hagalaz is the tower. And so that tower must fall. The past must be allowed to crumble and fall away in order to have that rebirth. And, you know, that resistance to the towers falling, those old ways of being, that's what keeps you stuck in that pattern. If you surrender to it and you surrender and you're just like, yep, everything is collapsing. Everything I built so far is collapsing because you made one wrong move or you made a wrong decision. You know, failure is a lesson and it's a growth process. And when you're at the bottom, there's nowhere to go but up. So don't even fear the bottom. We have Algiz in the past position. Algiz is protection, and Algiz is in reverse. So let's see what the book says. I like to read out of this book of runes by Richard Blum, because they just say, he says such beautiful things. So in the reverse position, Algiz asks you to be thoughtful of your health. Look carefully at all associations you form at this time, and do not add to the burdens that others are carrying. If you see fit to become involved with people who are using you, remain conscious of that fact and take responsibility for your own position. Then you can only benefit. Regardless of whether your enterprise prospers or suffers, do not be concerned. You may not win, but you will never lose, for you will always learn from what takes place. Temperance and courtesy are the sinews of this rune's protective powers. We have Uruz in the future position. Uruz is one of the cycle runes. It is an initiation rune. Without ears to hear and eyes to see, you may fail to take advantage of the moment. The negative result could very well be an opportunity missed or the weakening of your position. It may seem that your own strength is being used against you. For some, this rune reversed will serve to alert, providing clues from in the form of minor failures and disappointments. For others, those more deeply unconscious or unaware, it should provide a hard jolt. Reversed, it calls for some serious thoughts about the quality of your relationship to yourself. But take heart. Consider the constant cycling of death and rebirth, the endless going and return. Everything we experience has a beginning, a middle, and an end, and is followed by a new beginning, the Ace of Cups. Therefore, do not draw back from the passage into darkness, the hermit. When in deep water, become a diver. Beautiful. And Laguz in the foundation, Laguz is all about flow, that surrender, surrendering to the process and allowing yourself to go with the energy as the energy is going. If you resist the energy, you just create energetic disturbance, lack of coherence, you create chaos. You start to lean into that chaos when really in any moment you can just choose to become the observer, back off, just zoom out and even see yourself from the third position. Like, don't take shit so personally, zoom out and be like, oh my gosh, look how I am being, look what I am doing. Even use your name. Oh, look what Jordana's doing, she's acting a fool. And when you acknowledge something, when you acknowledge your emotions, they no longer have power over you. If you fear your emotional experience or you fear the darker sides of yourself, they have power over you and you're not able to use that power for creative energy. So allow yourself to flow with it. Let's see what else. Let's see what Richard has to say, you guys, because I'm sure. Okay, so flow, water, that which conducts. Water is intelligence, right? And water carries a signature, it carries codes from our ancestors. And so really using water as a tool to help you create that flow of your life. Like we talked about in the Four of Cups, using water as a conduit, focusing on that calm, calming that water within you. So he says, unseen powers are active here, creative and fertile powers of nature. The attributes of this rune are water, fluidity, the ebb and flow of tides and emotions, of careers and relationships. Laguz fulfills our need to immerse ourselves in the experience of living without having to evaluate or understand. It speaks to the desire for comfort and the satisfaction of emotional needs, to the lunar side of our nature. For while the sun strives for differentiation, the moon draws us towards unity and merging. This rune often signals a time for cleansing, for reevaluating, reorganizing, and realigning. A rune of deep knowing, Laguz may call you to study spiritual matters in readiness for self-transformation. Queen of Stones. Success now lies in contacting your intuitive knowing and attuning to your own rhythms. A rune of the self relating rightly to the self. Laguz signifies what alchemists call the conjunctio or sacred marriage. In fairy tales, it is the end where the hero and the heroine live happily ever after. Beautiful. And Berkana in the position of the obstacle or the challenge. Berkana signifies growth, a birch tree, rebirth. The rune of life process, another one of the cycle runes. Berkana denotes the form of fertility which promotes growth both symbolically and actually. The growth may occur in affairs of the world, family matters, one's relationship to self, or to the divine. This is a leading rune, so it leads to blossoming and ripening. What is called for here is going into things deeply with care and awareness. Berkana is concerned with the power of influencing development and with the flow of beings into their new forms. In action, it is gentle, penetrating, and pervasive. First, disperse resistance, then accomplish the work. For this to happen, you must be clear and controlled. In regards to the issue, your motives must be correct. Any dark corners should be cleansed, and this must be carried out diligently and sometimes with expert help. Modesty, patience, fairness, and generosity are called for here. Do you possess those virtues? Once resistance is dispersed and rectification carried out and seen to hold firm, then through steadfastness and right attitude, the blossoming can occur. How beautiful. And Teiwaz in the future position, warrior energy. This is the rune of the spiritual warrior. Always the battle of the spiritual warrior is with the self. Funding a will through self-action, yet unattached to outcomes, remaining mindful that all you really can do is stay out of your own way and let the will of the heavens flow through you. These are the hallmarks of the spiritual warrior. Embodied in this rune is the energy of discrimination, the sword-like quality that enables us to cut away the old, the dead, the extraneous. With Teiwaz comes certain knowledge that the universe always has the first move. Patience is the virtue of this rune, and it recalls for us the words of St. Augustine, that the reward of patience is patience. So that's a lot of reading, and let me know what you guys think about reading from this book. I just love to, because, you know, not only am I still learning and I'm not dedicating as much time to learning the runes as I could, because I do all kinds of other things all day. I just love the eloquence and the beauty with which she expresses the energy of the runes. So that, my dears, is a little reading for you for the week of March 2nd. We have an eclipse tomorrow. And so this eclipse is asking us to end another cycle. And here we are, the real collapse of life as we know it. And there's a resistance to it, right? There's a resistance in society to recognizing that the people that we've placed on pedestals have never had our best interest at heart. And so we've been resisting the collapse, because when we recognize that no one has power over us, then that means we have to take ultimate responsibility for ourselves. And when we live in the way that they've trained so many people to live, is to seek comfort. And comfort is the death of your dreams. Comfort is the death of progress. Getting out of your comfort zone is the only way you can change your life. And so comfort is numbing out. It's turning to vice rather than saying, okay, I can make this sacrifice, or I can direct myself towards something even though it's uncomfortable. The discomfort, if you don't feel discomfort, trust that you're not growing. Discomfort is a beautiful indicator that you're progressing and that things are changing and things are moving and things are transmuting. So congratulations. If you feel like shit right now and your heart is hurting, or you're in a bit of a place of like, holy fuck, what's going on in the world? Discomfort is the predecessor of growth. So just trust the process. And we all have work to do. We cannot look at the macro and not look at the micro. We cannot say, oh, these oppressors, these horrible people, these horrible dictators, and these selfish beings, without looking within and saying, there's a lot of ways I'm selfish too. I'm communicating with you on a computer, and I know good and goddamn well that there are children mining the minerals for this computer. These computers, I buy my stuff used. I buy my electronics used for that very reason, so that I am doing a little small part to not only keep waste out of landfills, but to hopefully alleviate some of that excess. We don't need nearly as much. We don't all need brand new electronics. And we have to understand that when we say, oh, it's okay, it's just this once, I'm just going to get this new phone this one time, or I'm just going to buy this one pair of boots that I know was made by slave labor, or I'm just going to seek my comfort and stack up a bunch of money so that I can live this rich life, and it's all about the money and all about the physical attributes of abundance, you're kind of playing the same game, you know, just different levels. There's different levels to everything. So those who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. None of us are perfect. We all have to forgive ourselves for the ways that we show up in the world when we don't show up as our higher selves, and when we don't show up with the long vision and the greater vision and the awareness of what is really going on and what game is really being played in the world. Because life is a game, you know, and you can play it however you want. But if you decide to play it as a warrior and a spiritual warrior, you are taking up a journey that actually changes the world. And so I applaud you for that. And I thank you for that, because it's not easy work at all. It's very confronting. It's very challenging. And the world doesn't actually support it very much. So I support you and I love you and I'm here for you on this journey. And I also created a little mini course for people if they want to take this journey a little bit further on their own. And so there's guided meditations, there's daily experiences that just help you attune your energy to a different frequency, getting out in nature. And it just provides a little guideline. So if you want to check that out, the link for it is below. And otherwise, I look forward to seeing you next time. And thank you for being here. Much love.